Hi guys, I'm Mr. Bo and welcome to a brand new community ideas video. Now last time I asked you guys for all your ideas on exotic armor pieces and you gave me tons of them. So much in fact that I'm not actually going to be able to cover them all in one video like I have done with my previous community ideas series. So what that means is I'm only going to pick a few. I did read through all your comments and I replied to all of them, so I did look at all your exotic ideas. In fact, you guys even had loads more ideas for exotic weapons you would like to see, which was my previous video, which there'll be a link for in the description below, so if you guys want to go check that out you can. But let's get straight into exotic armor. So starting off with Cranky Comet, he says he'd like some Titan legs and he doesn't care what they look like, however they would need to be called the Boots of Hermes. Now the first perk for this would be carrying more heavy ammo, and the second perk would be called Blessing of Hermes, making it so that when you're in the air you deal more damage and you can fly higher. And the fact you can fly higher means you're up in the air longer, meaning you can then do even more damage to your enemies. Now this is one of those exotic pieces which I could actually see in the game. It seems very plausible, seems like a real thing we could see in the Taken King. I personally would love to see this sort of thing on a Warlord. If you had that combined with the ability to stay up in the air when you're aiming down sights, that would be devastating. But it would be very cool for the Titan with the shoulder charge. It goes up in the air and smashes. It would kind of be like the Peregrine Greaves in that way if you were to do it with the shoulder charge, but this is definitely an armor piece I could see working. Next up we have Matt Hatter, who actually had an idea for every class, but again there were so many comments I'm only going to be able to go through one unfortunately, and I'm going to go through the one for the Warlord. So he says there are finally boots for the Warlord, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce the names for these, but whatever that is, it sounds cool. The first perk we have is Battle Runner. Precision kills increase agility for a short time. The second perk is melee kills increase grenade energy. And finally the third perk, which is called Broken Free. When Stormcaller is activated, you gain additional speed, making you harder to hit. Now of course no one's played these brand new subclasses yet, so we don't know how they're going to feel. However, from the gameplay that I've seen, the Stormcaller does look a bit slow when he's using Storm Trance, so I feel this would be very useful for when you're using it, so you can zip around quicker and kill a lot more enemies. Again, this is an armor piece I could definitely see being a real thing in the Taken King. Next we have a Titan helmet idea from Destroyer Job 1, and the helmet is called Bright Light. So the first perk is Infusion, the second perk is Ashes to Acid, and the exotic perk is Sunburn. When you create a sunspot, after a time the sunspot explodes, leaving burn damage on the enemy. Now this would be really cool. Imagine putting your sunspot down on a control point, having a load of enemies go onto that, and then it explodes, causing damage and killing some of them. I think that would be kind of cool. Again, these ideas actually sound so plausible for the Taken King. I can really see something like this working. Next we have another Titan helmet, and this one actually made me laugh when I read it. It's called the Spammer. The description reads first, and the first perk is Infusion, the second perk is Inverse Shadow, and the third perk is called Never Gonna Give You Up. You can throw hammers, the Hammer of Soul, much faster. So this is very cool. Being able to throw hammers a lot faster means you're probably going to be able to get a lot more kills with it, and could be very useful in the Crucible in PvP against other players. However, I think the best thing about this helmet is the name of the helmet, the description, and the name of that third perk, Never Gonna Give You Up. I would just use it for that. Next, Josh Wallace has an idea for an exotic hunter gauntlet that burns people stuck by the gravity bow, like maybe 5 damage per second, and he also has a dream that one day Titans will be able to blink. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but it is always worth dreaming that it will happen one day, because I'm sure it will, possibly in Destiny 2. But as for the exotic gauntlets idea for the hunter, I do really like this. Having the bow cause damage over time would be really useful, especially if you were able to group a load of enemies up, they'd all start receiving damage. Could even be a little bit overpowered, who knows, but I do like this idea. So Mr. Dub Wub Wub Dub has an idea for a helmet. Now he doesn't actually say what class this would be for, so it could be for any class really, but the name is called the Taken's Demise, the perk name is called Light of the Traveler, and the perk is kills have a chance to blind nearby enemies. I would 100% use this. Again, it could be seen as a little bit overpowered. If you kill someone, the enemy next to them will get blinded, meaning you can then kill them if there's an enemy near them. You just have a chain of blind enemies, so you can take out the whole team pretty easily. So I could see this being a little bit overpowered, but I would definitely use this. Next, Hayden has an idea for a hunter helmet, Basically, it enables you to tether friendly or enemy orbs. Your teammate orb is tethered, it very slowly revives them. If an enemy orb is tethered, it slows down the revive time of that orb until the shadow shot tether point runs out. I really like the idea of having the bow as another use, having it so you can shoot an enemy's ghost orb and then being able to revive them quicker, or vice versa with an enemy. Slowing them down would be very useful, especially in Trials of Osiris, and this probably could even cause some last minute clutches. And moving on to the last idea here, again, I know you guys had so many ideas. If you would like to see me do a part 2 where I go through the rest of your ideas, you can let me know in the comments below. But moving on to the last idea from Paul here, who says this would be a hunter chest armor, not specific to any subclass. It would have a perk called Shadow Slide, which is described as upon casting your super, a decoy is left in your wake. As the decoy takes damage, your character regenerates a quarter of the damage that is done to it. While this might make hunters ridiculously tanky while their super is active, it could also add to the sneakiness of the class. It might be worth consideration to take out the regeneration effect, although smart players would know not to shoot the decoy. So I like the idea of the decoy. I feel like it would be best suited to the hunter like you have here, and you talk about how you'll be able to regenerate health, though it might become a little bit too tanky. So I think a solution to this is make that work only if you are running Night Stalker, because that is a more supportive class. You don't want to have a extremely tanky Blade Dancer or Gunslinger coming at you, whereas if you have a tanky Night Stalker, that class is a little bit more supportive, so I think it would work really well with the Night Stalker subclass. So those are some of your ideas for what you would like to see exotic armor be in the Taken King expansion. As I said, you guys left a load more comments for armor and weapons. If you would like to see me do a part 2, let me know and I can do that in the future. But the topic for next week's video is artifacts. Well, artifacts are something that are coming with the Taken King, and we don't really have too much information about them. What we do know is you will be able to equip one onto your character only when you are level 30, and at the moment if you go onto Bungie.net there is a little indicator which shows you have a certain amount of kills with an artifact. We don't know what artifacts are. If you guys have any ideas for what you think they could be, and I will go over them in the next video. If you guys have any more questions about what artifacts are, just put them in the comments below and I can try and help you out, or you can go onto YouTube and search someone else's video where they go into a lot more details on what they think artifacts are. But if you guys missed my previous video in which I went over all the changes to exotic weapons coming with the Taken King, then you can click the link on screen or in the description below. Feel free to give the like button a big old hug and subscribe for tons more Destiny content and coverage. I am Mr. Bo, have an awesome day and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.